2 hours.
Lights, camera, fresh shoes.
Okay. Alright. Okay, so we're now moving into motion word problems type 3. Okay? And the type 1, 2, and 3 is not an official title.
Gary,
You know.
it's in 2 hours.
It's not like you're gonna read in a textbook, but this is type 3, right? I'm just throwing them in. Okay, so let's read this. I'm gonna first read this out loud. Jackson leaves the school.
Oh my god.
Going E at 5.
Going east.
Gary, don't read the problem.
Jackson.
Eventually we'll read the whole problem
Smile.
once we do the problem.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna read it. Jackson leaves the school going east at 15 miles per hour on his motorized skateboard, arms flapping and bugs getting stuck in his feet. Okay. 4 hours. 4 hours later. 4 hours later, Issa. Guys, come on.
Guys.
4 hours later, Issa jumps on her motor scooter, helmet and goggles in place, and a scarf wrapped stylishly around her neck, and heads after him at 35 miles per hour. After how many hours will she overtake Jackson? And then one last question, how many miles from the school was she when she overtook him?
Wait, Gary, what category did you post your video?
No. Is that your stuff?
Motion word problem.
Social media.
No, you should, in
Like-
some videos, you need to put it in entertainment.
Oh.
Some of them are really
Entertainment,
entertaining.
okay.
No.
Okay,
Guys.
so, God, this is so funny. It reminds me, Issa just reminds me so much when she gets on her motor scooter like this. I mean, I can't believe you took the time to put all that stuff on. But, I mean, it amazes me. I'm impressed. I'm really, truly impressed. But it reminds me when I go skiing, right? Well, I don't do it very often, but you go skiing, and I'm usually wearing blue jeans and a crappy jacket and whatever, and I'm waiting in line, and suddenly I'm next to somebody decked out, like gorgeous, like multicolored pants and iridescent, like fluorescent jacket and gorgeous gloves and this hat to die for.
Oh, that was so
Goggles. I mean, we're talking designer goggles. And we get up and it's time to get off the lift, and she falls. Right? I mean, and like, it's like, anyway.
Still ticking.
You gotta look good, right? You gotta
You gotta
go
fall
down in style.
stylishly.
yeah, you gotta fall
You gotta fall.
stylish.
No, otherwise, everybody's going to
She
do
put
that.
one
Oh yeah,
Alright.
I yelled at a guy from the lift.
One, I'm gonna call on Sam just once. Sam.
If Isa ever got on a scooter, she would probably be like, wee, and flip her scarf or her hair. And then she'd probably fall off the scooter. No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
probably
okay.
caught in
Okay.
a tree.
Alright.
She'd be like,
So-
"Wait, ah!"
So that okay.
And then Issa would be bald and everybody would laugh at her.
All right. So our first order of business is to draw our box.
First order of business is to erase this problem.
All right. Rate times time equals this. Okay, guys. Now it's time to be quiet. All right. So we have Jackson, Jack, and we have Issa. You don't look like a Jack, so I'm going to put Jackson. Okay. So all right. Jackson leaves the school going east at 50 miles per hour. Would you guys agree with me? I'd put that here.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
15 miles per hour. That's a rate. That's a speed. On his motorized skateboard, arms flapping, whatever. Okay. So obviously, in word problems, this is really common. It's really common to have word problems where there's a lot of stuff that's not important. I could have said his arm was 2.5 feet long, right? And right?
True.
It's probably true, right? But if I threw that stuff in, so Manu, if I threw that stuff in, it wouldn't make a diddly squat a difference to the problem.
Diddly squat.
Manu, sit down,
Once his
please.
arm got
Pretty much do.
This is it.
he's off balance,
Right?
he goes slow.
But that's the kind of thing. They might say the motor scooter was, 18 inches long and 6 inches wide. Like, so what, right? But that's the kind of stuff. So there's always a lot of stuff you don't need. You don't need this skateboard, arms flapping, bugs.
Yay,
getting-
we can cross
No,
this
but
out.
you need to
Why
get the
is it
stylish
not-
scarf because the stylish scarf factor is an important factor.
Yes.
And
So-
then it gets
Go out in
in
style.
It's a
Yeah.
plus
You
5
go.
minus
I'm
5.
just reminding you, it's my turn to talk, not yours.
Can't forget.
So 4 hours later, Issa jumps on her scooter and goes 35 miles per hour. Would you agree with me? I put 35 here.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about the time?
Oh, Jackson leaves at X and Isa leaves at X plus 4.
So,
HRX. 4 hours plus.
so what do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah,
If-
he still leaves 4 hours after Jackson leaves. How
Plus
does Jackson
4.
left with X?
So it helps to look at your question, like to see what you're being asked to solve for. It says, after how many hours will Issa overtake Jackson? So I wanna, when I solve for X, does that make sense? When I solve for X, I want it to be Issa.
Oh,
Does that make
so
sense?
it's
Wait,
Isa's
wait,
gonna
wait.
be X.
Just listen. So when I solve for X, I want it to say X be Issa's, Issa's hours, right? How long she's been there. So I'm gonna make Issa X. Does that make sense? Do you see why?
No.
So
But in general, this is a general rule that you can always use with these. Whoops. Rule. This is a general rule.
Oh, no!
Okay, rule. Here's a general rule. Always make,
Wait, Rue was a general?
always make,
General cheese.
What?
guys, can I do my lecture, please? Always make, let's see, what am I gonna say now? Made me forget my thing. Oh yeah, always make, the person that leaves last,
Person.
the person that leaves last, right? Be X,
Gary got notification.
okay? Always make the person that leaves last be X. So
Isa's the X.
Issa left last, so she's X. And it was,
Jackson's X minus.
no,
Yeah.
how much who traveled for a longer amount of time? Jackson. By how many hours? 4 hours. So Jackson actually traveled Issa's time plus the 4 more that he had already done. So it's gonna be X plus 4. Do you see that?
Look, I write like this, people.
So guys, why is everybody talking? I feel like I need to stop the video and start all over. I mean, seriously, I mean it. Can you stay looking forward a minute? All right? So, this is important, because this is where people mess up. A lot of people put X minus 4 here, right? But Jackson was traveling for more hours than Issa, right? So you gotta put X plus 4. All right, and then the distance, oh shoot, they didn't tell me the distance.
X 15.
Oh yeah, it's this times this equals this, right? So I can just do that. So 15 parenthesis X plus 4 and 35,
We don't have
well,
a total
I don't need a
distance, do we?
parenthesis. So X. And then what do we have? We do not, let me think about this. No, that's interesting. We don't have a total distance anymore. Look at this. I don't have anything.
Ha ha, Gary, you lost.
Okay? So that's interesting. So let's just think, this is a different scenario than the others. What do we know? Let's look at this. Let's look at this for a second. Jackson left from here and he went to there, right? He's just traveling. Issa left from the same place, you agree with me? And eventually she catches up to him. This is the distance 1, this is the distance 2. What do we know about the two distances?
They're the same.
They're identical, right? Even though they left later, Issa left later, she still traveled the exact same distance as Jackson.
Oh, I
By
know.
the
Oh,
time-
so could you 15 parentheses X plus 4 equals 35X.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yay, I win.
Very nice.
Bella.
Does that make sense? You guys see that?
in cash and prizes.
I'm gonna
Not
erase that.
really.
So we got 15 X plus 4 is equal to 35X. So I've got to do my distributive property. So 15x plus 60, right? Equals 35x. Subtract 15x. Subtract 15x. I have 60 is equal to 20x. Divide by 20, divide by 20. X is equal to 3.
So either it
Right?
will take me
Did I do
3
that right?
hours.
That's
So,
impossible.
after-
No, it isn't, because she's going 35 and he's going 15.
So notice I have two questions. My first question, it says, after how many hours will she overtake Jackson? Since I set, look at my box for a second. I solve for x. X is Issa's time. So in 3 hours, Issa will overtake
I
Jackson.
got 2.
So my
And
first
how many
answer
miles
Okay,
is
is,
got
school,
3.
though?
first answer was in 3 hours, right?
So now you have your your bottom box. So now you do the problem over again, but this time with the box.
Gary, quick question.
No, this
So-
time
So,
7. You know.
I'm sorry, say that again?
What?
Okay,
Never mind.
I know
Okay.
what to do.
Yeah, you.
So now we got a second question. Here's our second question. How many miles was she from the school when she overtook Jackson?
Well, what?
Bella?
35 times x. Wouldn't that be? No. Because time plus
So tell me
times
your
rate equals
reasoning.
distance. Because her time is which we found, wouldn't be x, and then the rate, so that would be equal to the distance.
So you're saying substitute the 3 in for the x here? 35 times 3? Yeah, right. Look at this question. Jackson, can you focus? How many miles? Is miles a rate or a time or a distance? They're asking for distance. And we already know that this distance and this distance are identical, don't we?
So you matter which solve for one.
So I solve for 1, whichever one you want. So let's do 35 times
I solved for
3. So 35 times 3, 35 times 3 is 15, 9,
105.
105.
105.
So 105 miles. So that's the answer to number 2. She's 105 miles from school, right? Make sense?
Would away work 105 miles away?
This,
I keep putting
Yeah,
school
that's fine.
instead of school.
this also illustrates why the chart is so helpful for these. Because if I didn't have the chart, I would have had to re-figure out everything. You know what I mean? The chart tells me I solved for time first, and then I found, oh, I had my distance already in my chart. I could immediately figure out what my distance was, or Issa's distance was. But if I didn't have the chart, I would have had to do the problem basically twice. I mean, I would have had to figure things out, and it would have been
That's always fun.
a lot easier. Yeah. So anyways, fist to 5. Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes total sense.
Okay.
I don't have enough room on my paper for.
It makes money.
Yeah, I don't either. I use the whole.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I didn't
Uh,
know if
no,
that
wait,
was
let me
like
look
Can we just go to break?
That makes that sense.
Now, I think I'll do one more.
This is mine.
But I have no paper.
Room.
We don't have room.
Too much access information that we don't have any room to write down.
All right, so this one, the next one I do is not going to have as much information on it.
As
But
much
we
as
need
the
to know his
can.
arm
We
length.
literally don't have any room, Gary.
His arm
And
length.
tell us exactly how many cavities he has because of all the bugs.
All right, so let's write this together.
There's like,
So let's write this together. We're going to do this one a little faster. I'm not going to write until it's quiet though.
That's never gonna happen.
if you keep on talking, it won't.
Yeah, let's keep talking,
Guys,
guys.
it is a video, just so you know. A biplane left the Jungle Airport
The jungle airport. Funny. It's a joke.
first, comma, flying,
My plane. Woo, by my plane. Oh no, it's sad.
I'll just say 400 miles per hour. 3 hours later,
Is that our homework sheet?
no, 3 hours later, a jet plane, well, jet, I'll just say jet. A jet leaves the same airport and heads toward the biplane. Going 600 miles per hour.
At nighttime.
How long
How long will the snake on the plane
will it take the jet to overtake the biplane if
The biplane is dead.
the sky is blue?
That's important information, because if it's a storm, it'll probably take a while.
Well, how do you know that it's not a storm, but the sky's still blue? What if it's
Well, no,
an
but
invisible?
You're identifying motion word problems type 5,
What?
where you have a headwind or a tailwind.
Woo!
Okay,
Told you.
all right, we don't have a lot of time. We're just gonna do this kind of quickly. So I'm just gonna draw my box. I've got rate times time equals distance. Draw my thing here, and I have the biplane, and I have the jet. And the bi is traveling 400 miles per hour, and the jet is going 600 miles per hour. Now it says the jet plane leaves 3 hours later. So I'm gonna
So
make
the
the
jet would be X, and then the
I make-
biplane would be
X
X
plus
plus 3.
X plus 3, beautiful, beautiful. 3 hours later, okay. And so then, this is gonna be 400 parentheses X plus 3. And this is gonna be 600X, right? So,
And
and
the total distance is nothing yet.
so I don't, yeah, and I don't have a total distance, right? Because it's not that kind of a thing. Remember, it's the same where the biplane left from the Jungle Airport, travels in this direction going slower, and then 3 hours later the jet leaves the same place and catches up to him, so their distances are the same, right? So we can set them equal. Distance 1 equals distance 2. So this distance equals this distance. We don't need to know how far apart they were or anything like that, right? Because they started at the same place. We don't. So we're just going to set this up. We're going to say 400 parentheses X plus 3 equals 600X, right? Okay, so we got to use our distributive property. So that's 400X plus 403.
400.
So it's
No, no, it's
It's
not adding.
1,200.
Oh, shoot. I'm so glad you guys caught me.
Accurate.
Okay, equals 600X. Okay, now what do I do?
Then you do the math.
Math, that's a great idea. So we'll subtract 400X. Subtract 400X,
You're all
right? Because you want your X's all on the same side. So that gives me 1200 is equal to what?
X equals
200.
600.
200. Okay, X, right?
X equals 600.
Divide by 200.
Scary, how could you?
Divide by 200.
Oh, divide! I minused it.
Wow, minus divide. Right.
600.
So I am going to take away
I applaud you.
when I have 200. Well, obviously that's going to cross out.
600 times 200.
And you guys know this rule, right?
It's 6.
Guys?
600
Guys?
times 2.
Yoo-hoo.
Hi.
Okay. So you guys know the rule that if you're dividing one number by another number, if they both end in 0, I can cross out those 2 zeros?
Yeah.
Oh, but they still both end in 0, so I can cross those 2 out. So now it's just 12 divided by 2. So x is equal to 6.
600 times 6.
So what did I solve for?
6
I have to go
hours.
back to my question. How long will it take the jet to overtake the biplane? And I would actually write it out. You know, the jet
Wait.
overtook the biplane in 6 hours.
But
Or
you don't know the time in there.
in 6 hours.
Yeah, you do.
No, because it just says how long will it take the jet
Yeah,
to
but it
overtake
says
the biplane.
600 miles per hour, so it must be hours.
Yeah.
No, it could be
Yeah.
seconds, but you have to divide the answer.
No,
by
because
six.
everything we're doing is based on the information they gave us, which is all in
They
either
asked
miles
you in hours, so.
or hours. Does that make sense?
No.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what we're doing. So anyways, that's it. Piece of cake, fist of 5. How do you guys feel about it?
Wait, there is no, oh yeah, there is no more.
Really, let me see the fist of 5. I just want to know if you guys, anybody confused by this? Okay, awesome.
Gary,
Great.
can we go now? Do you ever
Alright,
get
so
the second one?
we're gonna turn this off.
Leaves at a slower thing, and then